I've been thinking of the FNAF 2 movie ever since I walked out of the theater. That is literally the first thing that went through my mind when I left. And I know a lot of you were thinking the exact same thing. So I thought it'd be fun to go over what could be in the second FNAF movie. Keep in mind, this is all just fun speculation, so, we're just having fun with this. But we're probably all wrong anyway, because the FNAF movie 2 is definitely going to be about Fazgoo and skibidis. So I've been theorizing what could be in the next FNAF movie. You see, Doug was actually behind everything. Unfortunately, we're going to have to be scratching off FNAF 2, because we know for a fact that Springtrap is going to be the next antagonist for the second movie. My evidence? Because of literally everything in the first movie. It'd be really confusing to do a prequel. I mean, it works for video games, especially this franchise. It'd be incredibly jarring, which isn't to say that this isn't a new thing for FNAF. But again, we have to consider general audiences here, at least slightly. Plus the fact that the official Freddy's Archive website, yes, is a real site promoting the movie. I had no idea this existed. Seems to imply that the only animatronics in use were the ones in the FNAF movie. Meaning no other animatronic was used, at least under the name of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Fredbear's Family Diner is still very implied to exist in this universe, and let me know if you guys think that this is true or not. I'm honestly very confused on this myself. But if this isn't going to be based on FNAF 2, then what is it going to be based on? Well, there's the Twisted ones. I don't think they're going to want to introduce sound illusion discs in this, especially when they play no plot relevance into the story whatsoever. There are no robot kids, not yet. Most FNAF fans don't even understand the sound illusion discs, so I very much doubt that my dad will. So, while this may be the obvious answer, I had to get this out of the way, because yes, this is somewhat going off the game timeline and the book timeline, and technically speaking, both these things are the sequels in these games. So, we have to skip ahead to FNAF 3. I think it'd be ideal for it to be FNAF 3, considering that Springtrap has been built up to be the main antagonist, so it would only make sense for it to be FNAF 3. However, I'd like to take one thing from FNAF 2.
What you she got? What you she got? The puppet.
The puppet. Now, fun fact, the puppet actually does appear in FNAF 3, so it's not completely unreasonable that they'll be in here. Especially because the end credit scene actually had a special cameo from Orpo Guy, spelling out "come find me," which a lot of people interpreted to be Springtrap talking, but I'm pretty sure this is referring to the puppet. The last time we heard this text-to-speech was relating to the puppet in FNAF 2, so it wouldn't be unreasonable to think that this is relating to the puppet, not Springtrap. And I think that they'll be introduced in a very specific way. I think that the puppet is Garrett. Hear me out. There was 2 times a murder was linked to a car. Charlie's murder and Garrett's murder. We've only seen William Afton drive once. This can't be a coincidence. Unfortunately, he was not driving a purple convertible like we all assumed he would be, but it's okay, I forgive you. Afton full movie did it better. The second piece of evidence being that this is William Afton's first murder.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
This is why your wings are for sale. So I think that Garrett being the first killed and then going on to be the puppet would make a lot of sense. But what seals the deal here is the very common theory that I've been seeing going around that Henry is Mike's dad. Instead of being Henry Emily, he's going by Henry Schmidt. Like, why would William Afton be targeting this little kid specifically? And sure, you could argue that he was just a creep in the woods, and then he just decided to take Garrett away. But when he was going to kill Mike, he made it oddly personal. Kind of makes me feel like this is some sort of achievement for him.
Skibidi, my friend.
Plus, when Mike describes his dad's death, it was oddly vague. All of this leads me to believe that Garrett is the puppet, and that he'll probably have a guiding role, considering at the end he's instructing us to go find him. And this location where the puppet is asking Mike to go find him is possibly in William Afton's basement.
Hello, your neighbor. Goodbye, I'll see you later. This place was not for you to look and see to get from me.
It would make a lot of sense because they're not able to get to Freddy's, and why would Mike need to go find them instead of them just going to Mike? The kids are able to fly over to Mike's house, but why can't the puppet? Well, maybe because they're not able to and they're in William Afton's basement. I know this is a reach, but hear me out. It's the only way to include the sister location bunker, as well as give Vanessa something to do, which is revisiting her old house. That could be something very interesting. considering she really doesn't like her past. I wouldn't either. So when they find the puppet, I assume the puppet's going to be playing a more guiding role, considering they literally leave instructions for us in the credits. They might even tell Mike that he's able to set the souls free by setting them on fire. Is that a bit FNAF VHS inspired? Maybe, but it would make a ton of sense. I think it'd be narratively satisfying if Mike were to go to the FNAF Movie 1 location and just set the place on fire and then, oh, so you can't set the souls free with fire, before he burns down a building that he could legally get in trouble for doing. And then after he does this, I think he could go to Fazbear Frights and then burn it down. But I do think the animatronics can play a role here, specifically the Phantom animatronics. I think the Phantom animatronics would be great, considering Mike tends to be a bit of a sleeper, so having nightmares would be understandable for the sleep connoisseur that is Mike Schmidt. The Phantoms could probably just be him imagining what happened at Freddy's and having to deal with that again. Or maybe just the straight up trauma, just following him even outside of Fazbear Frights.
Your friends will die. Your loved ones will all die.
So in conclusion, I think this movie is going to be FNAF 3 with the puppet thrown in there, with Vanessa lore thrown in there going back to the Afton house, and possibly a setup for a sequel. Hear me out, I think FNAF 6 is still possible, just without Circus Baby. What if the FNAF Movie 1 animatronics end up forming Molten Freddy, or a version of Ennard, as Mike didn't account for the animatronics escaping? We know Springtrap did, the animatronics could have as well. So we have Molten Freddy, Springtrap, as well as Henry actually coming back to trap the puppet in Lefty, who was actually keeping tabs of things that were going on around Freddy's this entire time. And with that, Mike's getting a brand new job at the FNAF 6 location, technically the movie version. But yeah, that's what I think is going to happen in the second movie, and a hint of what's going to happen in the third movie sprinkled in there. This is me mostly just throwing ideas, seeing what works. You know, maybe you guys will have better theories on what's going to happen in the FNAF movie too. Let me know in the comment section down below. But hey, it's just a theory, so let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!
I finally got my appetizers. Thanks, matpat.